A study of piano music would not be complete without a look at Frédéric Chopin, a Polish composer who spent most of his life in France. Unlike most other composers who wrote for all different kinds of instruments and ensembles, Chopin only wanted to write for the piano. He wrote all kinds of things. He wrote waltzes, mazurkas, polonaises, nocturnes, sonatas, ballades, oh my. And some of the most painful etudes ever written for the instrument. But that's another story. He is most famous for the Minute Waltz, a piece so named because it takes 2.5 minutes to perform. This one is not to be confused with the 2-minute waltz, a piece which lasts only 30 seconds. His most famous piece, perhaps, is the Nocturne in E-flat major, Opus 9, number 2, which is another prerequisite for admittance into the pianist's union. You're supposed to play it as tastelessly as possible, this one, like so. Sorry about that, I'll spare you the remaining 7 minutes of the piece. Although Chopin was generally brilliant, he did have a little trouble with scherzos. The word scherzo means joke in Italian, and as such a scherzo is supposed to be a musical joke. Take, for example, the opening of this one from Beethoven. We could talk all afternoon about exactly how Beethoven creates humor in this passage, but I'm sure you're not interested in that. So let's instead contrast this fairly characteristic scherzo with the beginning of the first one that Chopin wrote. That's very funny. But you know, whatever might be wrong with Chopin's sense of humor, we still love him. Because at the very least, he is probably the only reason why any Americans at all know what on earth a mazurka is. For those of you that don't know, it's a type of Polish dance. Stop your kids on that, it's fun. Our last composer of the day is Mr. Johannes Brahms. Not Johann, Johannes. He was very touchy about this. And he was the son of a man named Johann Brahms. You're not going to believe me, but it's true. Brahms, Johannes, the younger one, he's the one that we remember today, was trained early in life on both piano and the cello, but his cello studies were cut short when his teacher stole his instrument. Making it kind of difficult to practice, I guess. But I swear I'm not making this up. It's on Wikipedia, so it must be true, right? Brahms says that as a teenager, he was forced to play the piano in several bars and brothels around his town. Forced, I tell you, he was forced. He wouldn't have gone there on his free will. I'm sure that such places were totally boring and had nothing whatsoever that might possibly attract a teenage boy. You know, I won't be too hard on poor Brahms, though, because his own love life was really kind of sad. He fell in love with several women and even got engaged to one, but never married. He was very close to Robert Schumann and his wife Clara. Both of them gifted pianists and composers in their own right. And eventually he actually may have gotten a little too close to Clara after her husband Robert began to go, well, a little off in the head later in life. Nonetheless, Brahms's friends described him as very lovable, although he did develop a reputation for being a bit of a grump in public. He's also been described by certain historians as looking more and more like a hedgehog as he got older. I've looked at the pictures, I don't see the resemblance, but I'm not a historian, I'm sorry. And hedgehog or no, many of his pieces are still among the most popular classical works ever written. They tend to be big, serious, epic, moody, but really gorgeous works. Not a lot of joking going on. It just wasn't his style. So, on that note, I thought I would end today by playing for you a piece which is about as close as Brahms gets to a joke. This passage comes from the end of his Rhapsody No. 2 in G minor. Thank you so much for listening.